The Middle East is witnessing one of the most dramatic escalations in modern history. Day 3 of the Israel-Iran war has changed everything. Missiles are flying. Military bases are burning. Gulf nations are on high alert. And one shocking claim is shaking the entire region. Iran has confirmed the death of its supreme leader, Ruhollah Khomeini. This is not just a battlefield development, it is a geopolitical earthquake. The operation that shocked the world, according to reports cited by the New York Times and the Washington Post. This was allegedly a long-term intelligence-based operation. Sources claim the CIA had been monitoring Khomeini's residential compound for months. His movements were extremely limited. Most of his life was reportedly spent inside a highly secure compound. Even his foreign travel was rare. When intelligence reportedly confirmed his presence inside the compound, a precision missile strike was launched. Khomeini had ruled Iran since 1989, becoming the second supreme leader after Ruhollah Khomeini. For 36 years, he was the most powerful figure in Iran and one of the most influential leaders in the world. He had survived assassination attempts before, including a 1980 bombing that permanently disabled his right arm. Previous US-Israeli attempts allegedly failed, but this time they succeeded. Iran has declared 40 days of mourning and 7 public holidays. Across the country, red flags, a historic symbol of revenge and war, have been raised. Iran strikes back. Within hours, retaliation began. Iran reportedly launched missile attacks targeting US military bases in Dubai, Qatar, Kurdistan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and multiple Israeli locations. At least 10 explosions were reported in Doha alone. Qatar Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemned the attack and declared it reserves full rights to respond under international law and the UN Charter. Iran also fired advanced ballistic missiles toward Israel. Military experts claim some of these missiles bypassed Israel's Iron Dome defense system and struck sensitive locations. Reports suggest Israeli authorities have instructed citizens to remain in bunkers, and certain media restrictions may have been imposed to control footage from impacted areas. The battlefield is expanding rapidly. Heavy losses on both sides. Iran's military leadership has reportedly suffered devastating losses. Iran's Defense Minister Amir Nasirzadeh and Senior Revolutionary Guard Commander Mohammad Pakpour are among those reported killed in airstrikes. These high-level deaths expose potential intelligence gaps within Iran's security system. At the same time, Iran's missile power has surprised many analysts. Experts warn that the United States and Israel may have underestimated Iran's ballistic capabilities. Similar to past miscalculations in other geopolitical conflicts, Iran is now reportedly shifting strategy. First land-based targets, then potentially maritime targets, and that brings us to the most dangerous scenario of all. The Strait of Hormuz, the world's energy lifeline. The Strait of Hormuz is the most critical oil choke point on Earth. Nearly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow waterway every single day. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Iraq, and Qatar rely heavily on it to export oil and gas to Asia and Europe. If Iran decides to close this strait, the impact would be catastrophic. Oil prices could instantly skyrocket to $120, $150, or even higher. LNG shipments from Qatar could stop. Global stock markets would likely crash. Inflation worldwide would surge. Shipping insurance costs would explode. Asia, especially China, India, Japan, and South Korea, would face immediate energy shortages. Europe and the United States would feel the shock through rising fuel prices and supply chain disruption. Even Gulf countries would suffer massive economic losses, despite being oil producers. Their revenue depends on exports, and exports depend on Hormuz. Gulf countries are in a crossfire. Dubai and Qatar are now asking difficult questions. Reports suggest some missile strikes occurred without clear early detection. Many Gulf states rely heavily on U.S. defense technology and satellite systems. They do not operate fully independent command and control networks, making them dependent on American intelligence systems. If Iran expands attacks on U.S. bases across the Middle East, the war could quickly spread beyond Israel. Will the war expand? The U.S. President Donald Trump has reportedly urged Iranian citizens to rise against their government. But early indications suggest that many Iranians are rallying behind their leadership instead of protesting. Reports also claim tragic civilian casualties, including a devastating attack on a girls' school in Iran. with reported deaths reaching 148. Such incidents will likely intensify anger and reduce chances for negotiation. Military analysts now warn that U.S. and Israeli Marines may need to secure strategic regional positions if escalation continues. The emotional environment inside Iran has hardened. Any previous space for diplomacy appears to be shrinking. What happens next? If the Strait of Hormuz is closed, this conflict will no longer be regional. It will become a global economic crisis. Energy markets will spiral. Global trade will suffer. Inflation will rise worldwide. Financial markets could crash. And geopolitical alliances may shift dramatically. This is not just a Middle East conflict anymore. It is a test of global stability. The next 48 to 72 hours may decide whether this remains a limited war or becomes a historic turning point that reshapes global politics, energy security, and economic balance for years to come. Stay alert, the situation is evolving fast.